and that's, many of them have said it's really important to reach out. And we say that to the students all the time. You have to reach out. Like, we see you, we kind of know you, we know your name. But if you want help, all you have to say is, Lisa, could I make an appointment? Abu, could I make an appointment? Patty, could I make an appointment? Like, we'll meet with people about any number of things, especially around academic advising. But even though we're constantly telling students that you have to ask, because we can't read your minds and we don't know, we're also constantly offering opportunities for them to come and ask. So, we'll do advising sessions on how to choose a major, and that tends to be actually a pretty popular advising session, kind of packed in. I mean, we've had to expand the space for that because so many people want to come and just sort of learn what are some questions that I should ask, who are some people I could see, how do I reach out if I'm trying to find a major. Like, we can sit down one-on-one with students, but we can also just sort of give them a kind of a template of questions that they can be asking themselves and their professors and their advisors as a way of sort of finding their way. And in some ways also just encouraging them to do the things that they want to do as opposed to the things that they think they should do. I mean, Mike thought that he should do biology, I'm guessing, because he was thinking about med school. And so many of our pre-meds, and we have a lot of pre-meds, say, well, I'm a biology major. Of course I'm a biology major. I want to do pre-med. I want to go to med school. Well, no, you know what? You don't have to be a biology major, not by a long shot. I mean, med schools are really happy with English majors, with anthropology majors, with majors in environmental studies and sciences. You need to take some bio and chem and math. You need to get the stuff that you need to get into med school, but that's actually a pretty small collection of courses. You do not have to major or even minor in any of those things, and you can take those science courses and be ready for med school. But a lot of students don't know that. So, we try to just open up their options so that they can find the things that they love and maybe go to med school, and maybe not. Maybe they'll actually discover that they want to go into, environmental advocacy. Who knows? Or public health, or just something else. So we do our very best to make as many of those opportunities available to students, as well as advising, both with us, but also, as Matt said, the individual colleges and schools have amazing people in student services. I mean, amazing people. And sometimes we'll send our students there. We'll say, well, we really think you need to go over and talk to so-and-so in the College of Agriculture and Life Science because this person can really help you find your way. And so we'll actually send them off somewhere else where we think they can ask, have their questions answered more thoroughly. But, we do a lot of that. We're, constantly evolving in our sense of what students need from us and how we can make that available and let them know that that kind of advising is available.
Do you typically see that freshmen are sort of afraid to do that? I mean, obviously it's a personality, issue.
What do you think? You guys think as freshmen, did you evolve?
I think it's,
I would regress now.
We won't start with Mike. Did you evolve? I mean, can you remember yourself as some of these people were go-getters, I'm guessing, as first-year students. But do you feel like you? What do you think?
I definitely evolved. I think, especially it's October now, those first couple months of school, you're focused on who am I friends with, who am I hanging out with, what does college look like for me, and that's fine. That's normal, and that's what I spent my time doing for those first couple months. And then luckily, because I was in the honors college rooms, we used to go to the honors college socials on Fridays. They had cheese and crackers and juice, and we just, for whatever reason, thought that was the most fun thing, and we'd go to those all the time. And then through that, I knew all the honors college staff people, and their offices, once we got to U Heights, were in the same building that I lived in, so we could go down in our socks and be like, hey, I'm not really sure what is going on here. So I think it is a process of just evolving into that and figuring out both your interests, and then, they're going to be here for 4 years and they need to feel comfortable in that setting. So I think that, yeah, it takes a little while to get your academic feet under you, but luckily the Honors College has that support so that once you do, then you have the resources that you need.
Laura?
I don't know. I had a lot of support from faculty while I was here. I came in as a freshman and as a French major, And I was happy to take French writing and French grammar and French pronunciation and follow that course. And I threw a poli-sci course in there because I had taken a lot of AP poli-sci in high school. And I was like, oh, well, this is pretty cool. I guess I'll major in that too. And I was chugging along, and I got an internship at the Vermont Democratic Party for the '06 election. I was working 40 hours a week there. I had to shift my schedule around. So I ended up in an intro to Southern Asian languages class because it was like I had to find something, and that was pretty cool. And fortunately, I met an amazing professor, and it was a really small class. There was probably 6 or 8 people in there, and she made us do serious research, and that research required that we go and meet with her on a regular basis. And in these meetings, I realized, wow, I get so much more out of these classes if I'm going to go to office hours and talk about the things that interest me. And so I guess I started reaching out to my professors more, and the quality of my writing improved. The time that I spent in the classroom improved because, I felt like I knew them better and they knew me better. So I felt myself shift from just like following the prescribed course for like achieving success in my major to actually doing research and doing work and ultimately doing what I love. And the professor with whom I worked in linguistics helped me kind of mush together some courses from different departments, from philosophy, from classics, so I could have a linguistic foundation. And back to the administrative support thing, enough people have small interests here and there in linguistics that we now have a linguistics major at UVM. So that's pretty cool.
So I have a question too. A lot of you, and it just builds on what you guys are talking about right now, a lot of you have described kind of the importance of activities outside the classroom, which got you interested in what you're doing and helped give some meaning and direction to your studies in the classroom. So whether it was at a radio station or in debate or EMT. So along the same lines as the previous question, how do you find a major? How did you, Madeline saw the paperweight, but as far as general advice goes, how did you guys stumble upon these areas that are so vitally important to you now? How did you get that interest? Again, taking into account what Stephanie was saying, that first you just have to find your legs,
So the question is how you found your interests outside of the classroom as well as your majors.
I think it's important to take a breadth of classes. I think my interest in women's studies and gender studies and citizenship really involved because of all of the different classes that I had been taking. And it wasn't specifically a women and gender studies class that I necessarily took that really caught my eye towards the subject, but it was other classes from anthropology where I saw similar trends in terms of female citizenship around the world that really directed me towards that. And then with extracurriculars, the same thing applies. I came to UVM and I applied. I put my name on like every listserv. So I was going to meetings pretty much every night of the week, and then eventually after the first month or two I dropped most of those and stuck with debating. So I think just putting yourself out there and really getting involved and participating in a lot of things, and not just the things from high school that, oh, I ran track, so I'm just going to do the running club, but look at maybe the triathlon club or other things that may be similar but are different as well. So you have those different experiences. I think that's very important.
And I think Madeline definitely hit the nail on the head. And there's so many opportunities here that maybe were not what you were aware that you were interested in, and being open to that. And I just wanted to add on that there are plenty of opportunities. There's things like activities fairs and club fairs, certainly at the beginning of the semesters, and other opportunities throughout to sort of meet and greet and talk to people that represent these clubs and organizations, and just being open to those and trying new things was really helpful.
For me, I'd been very involved in leadership stuff in high school, and for some reason I was afraid to do that in college because I just felt the course load and things. I wanted to make sure I wasn't overwhelming myself, but then I found that I wasn't as motivated my first year as I wanted to be because I didn't have those things going on. So once I started working with the orientation programs, that was similar enough to what I did in high school with some peer leadership stuff that that I felt comfortable and I really enjoyed it, but it also opened up this huge world of social justice involvement that I didn't know was going to be part of that experience, and that's really what ultimately led me to my interest in environmental justice, and then applying to Teach for America and sort of following the career path that I'm on now. So I think that, yeah, the more you can find something that's similar to what you've been doing, but that takes a little bit more of a risk, that really helps.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is direct, I'm sure it's direct.
Okay.
So when I was up here earlier with my son, who was in pre-med,
Yep.
the feeling I got was, oh, there are lots of people who graduate and they take a year or two off before applying to med school to dress themselves up, make themselves look more attractive to the medical schools in their application. So what did you do in UVM to basically make yourself an attractive package coming right out of school? How did you differentiate yourself in that group so that they took you on first pass?
Well, I mean, you need to have a good GPA like everybody has when they go to medical school. But they also want to see that you're doing other stuff besides just studying. So when I first came into UVM, I was thinking about becoming a physician, but I didn't want to go through all the work if it wasn't for me. So that's why I joined the rescue squad to see if it was for me. I really loved it. It was great. And I also joined another program here called the Pre-Medical Enhancement Program, where you get selected to join it. You get to shadow a doctor for both semesters each year. So I got to shadow my sophomore year a rheumatologist, my junior year a trauma surgeon, and my senior year a hematology oncology doctor. And just working with them, hearing from them what it was like and everything, that made me really want to do it. So I decided in my mind, all right, I want to become a doctor. And so I continued with the grades, continued with the EMT. And then I also asked them the tough questions, like, is there stuff about being a physician that you don't like? And balancing all that, then I made the decision, yes, I can deal with all the other stuff that's bad about it. So you have to do a lot of extracurricular activities. You have to get good GPAs. And I mean, I'd say in my class right now, 25% of the kids probably came right out of college. And most of us, had the good GPA. You have to do well on your MCAT, study for that. But overall, just do stuff that is going to make you happy, because that's what they want to see in your interview. Because just getting the interview is the hardest part. Once they get there, they're just going to ask you, like, what do you like to do? And they want to make sure you're going to be a good candidate for entering into the school. So.
We probably have time for one more question.
Why did you choose UVM as the medical?
Basically, in medical school, you go where you get in. I applied to 10 schools. I got 4 interviews, waitlisted at 2 places, and I got in here in Albany. And I much prefer Burlington over Albany, and I love Burlington, so I stayed here.
And it's a very good med school.
Right, it's like 4th in primary care or something, so it's a very good medical school too. So.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Yeah.
Maybe one more question. Is there one more, and then we'll. Oh, sorry.